The rules, Shannon Dobbs.
I will never forget the feelings I experienced the first time I opened my copy of the original Dungeons & Dragons basic and advanced rulebooks over 40 years ago. I read the books voraciously, returning again and again to review the basics after seeing something further into the books that clarified other information I had already devoured. I internalized every aspect of the game, both from a player and dungeon master perspective, intuitively grasping, even at my young age, that this is the shared framework I would use again and again to create new entire worlds and to share them with my friends. This is how to determine whether I hit my opponent with the axe as I declare an attack. There is how I determine whether that bugbear went down as a result or continued swinging its club at my wizard and interrupted her casting that might save us all from certain doom, depending how the dice roll out, of course. This rule is how I can tell whether my intelligence and wisdom scores are sufficient to defeat and detect the trap placed in the dungeon doorway my party is about to step through, or if I or another member of my party would need to create a new character. These rules are how my loose collection of friends and strangers will come together into a tight-knit party of adventurers through the years, how we will all relate to, collaborate with, and rage against the vagaries and demonic glee of the brutal but wise dungeon master, a being with the unlimited power of judgment call and an omniscient perspective of the desired narrative flow to create unique and entertaining stories with and for each other. This is the framework my friends and I would use to develop a story that is our own within this shared universe. I learned the rules. When I was 13 years old, I was sent by my mother and her new husband to a Marine Corps military school in another state. The experience was, as one might imagine, a bit traumatic. The customs were unfamiliar to me and therefore frightening, and lots of children not much older than I was were empowered by little stripes and gold doodads on their collars to yell at me constantly. I learned over time, however, and began to thrive within the structured environment. I excelled at school and sports, got a few shiny doodads of my own to hang on my shirt, and was successfully indoctrinated into the framework of my new reality. The rules in this system continue to confound me, however, as they seemed inconsistent. They changed constantly depending on circumstances and who was enforcing them, and many rules did not appear to apply at all to some students. I came to understand that there is a second set of rules, ones which are not written, but which nevertheless impact my life, and then I'd better learn those too. I learned the rules. I joined the Army at 19, full of myself and cocky as hell, because I already knew the rules. I shared this information politely and respectfully with my drill sergeants when I showed up, because I also understood at that point that people in positions of power have egos and do not like to be shown up. I offered to help other boots by tutoring them on how to shine boots and buckles, how to do a proper push-up, how to arrange a name tag and awards on a uniform, and much more of the skill sets that were being imparted to the rest of the class. The drill sergeants responded by removing me from the companies entirely, placing me in my own room away from the main bay, and installing me as the guidon bearer to march next to the battalion commander in front of the formation. I thought this was an honor at first, but then came to realize that this was a way to separate what they consider to be an unhealthy influence on their command. I came to understand that basic training is not about learning the rules so much as it is about breaking down the ego of soldiers to open them up for indoctrination. And my having already been through that process once meant that I knew rules they did not want others to learn. I learned a new term of disparagement as it was leveled at me repeatedly by both drill sergeants and trainees, resentful of my position in the unit, barracks lawyer. I learned the hard way that sometimes it's not a good thing to let others know that I knew the rules. I learned the rules. When my friend and I moved to Reno and bought a bar in 2006, I had little to no experience with anything having to do with business or the LGBT community I was serving, for that matter. I had to quickly become proficient in rules dealing with everything from basic permitting to dealing with staffing and human resources issues, to gaming licenses, to supply chain dynamics, to public perception and marketing, to dealing with my neighbors, including other business owners who were affected or believed they were affected by my operations and customers. Over time, I made a ton of mistakes. I lost my gaming license in 2011 after my partner and I broke up, and I didn't follow the correct protocol to transfer it to my name, exacerbated by an investigating official who didn't like my clientele. This sort of thing is generally considered to be a death blow for a Nevada bar, as gaming is held to be the highest standard for profitability. Lots of folks started placing bets on how long my bar would last without the gaming machines installed. Rather than crying about the issue, I instead figured out how to operate a non-gaming bar and pivoted to a nightclub model instead. The change ended up doubling my business. It turns out that lots of customers hated the gaming atmosphere and were ecstatic that I pulled them out. Once they were gone, people began to interact more with each other, to create connections, and to become a community. I had made a new rule book with a different set of rules and erased an unwritten but deeply held belief in the community through my decisions. I was now officially a dungeon master. I continued to learn the rules. By 2012, I began to understand that many of my customers were struggling with their health. While some of that was connected to the alcohol I was selling, a fact that increasingly began to chafe with me as I began to take better care of myself and to take control of my own health. A lot was due to the type and quality of foods that were available in downtown Reno for those who lacked personal transport. Having recently gone through an awakening of sorts about food quality and its impact on my health, this became an important issue for me. Learning how to impact others' lives through my actions as a business owner required learning a very different set of rules from the ones I had learned to date. I had tried to install a commercial kitchen in my bar, but learned that the rules don't allow it. The building is long and narrow with no parking or other outside space beyond the walls and backs up to an alley. This meant that there was no way to install a grease interceptor, and therefore no commercial cooking would be allowed by the city, as this device is necessary to keep fats, oil, and grease from entering the city sewers and waterways. I continued to learn the rules. Then in 2014, I visited a bar and nightclub convention in Las Vegas. And on the showroom floor, I watched a demonstration of a high-capacity, heat-producing commercial convection oven, basically an air fryer, that was able to offer pre-cooked bar food so that it tastes fried without the grease. When I tasted the products, I was amazed. This really isn't fried? Even better, this device was self-contained with internal venting and required no hood to operate. The salesperson then told me something that blew my mind. As long as I offer the food on throwaway plates and don't wash anything, I don't need a grease interceptor. I had my kitchen, and my customers and staff had a resource for healthy food in downtown Reno. Hey, don't be mad. I'm just following the rules.
Thank you so much, Shannon. And now, if all four contestants would please go to the breakout room and let me know when they are out. That's Melanie, Charlotte, William, and Francine.
All right, just so before everybody leaves, those in the breakout room, I'll be sending you text or messages. I will not be talking to you in audio. So just be aware, you have 5 minutes and we'll call you in one at a time. While you're in there after that 5 minutes, just turn your paper over, sit and meditate. So going into the room, should be sure.
Let me know when they're in the room and I'll start the timer.
Thank you.
Or Debbie Joe, either one.
Francine. My names are spread out a little bit here on my list. And William. So William, Melanie, Francine, and Charlotte, please go to your rooms.
Time has started.
Thank you. And if you would please keep the timer and the speaker spotlighted while I interview, not interrogate. Our test speaker, Shannon, please unmute yourself. We have some very serious questions. We would like to get to know you.
You got it.
And so first of all, how old were you when you were born?
I was ageless.
And probably timeless. I love it. Shannon, tell the truth. If all jobs paid the same, what would you do for a living?
I would do exactly what I'm doing right now, which is working to eliminate food insecurity and hunger.
Working to eliminate food insecurity and hunger. That's a pretty awesome job. I hope it pays very well. So what's your best accent that you do?
Ooh, I have a very good friend living in Ireland who would vociferously disagree with me, but probably the Irish accent.
Oh, In your best Irish accent, answer the following questions. What's your favorite color?
Oh, that's an easy one. My favorite color is blue. Wait, no, green. Ah.
In your best Southern accent, what's the most beautiful place on earth?
Well, little lady, I'm gonna have to say that Koh Phangan, Thailand is gonna be my favorite place so far.
That's a pretty good accent there, fella.
Much obliged.
In any accent you prefer, what's your idea of fun?
Going back to Irish, my idea of fun is staying active and going real fast, whether it be motorcycles, skis, or I suppose paddle boards, if you can go fast on those things.
You know, you look a little Irish. If you could change your name, or what would it be?
The last time I changed my name, it became Casper, the friendly ghost. And that was the name that my army friends called me on a regular basis. If I had to do it again and change my name, I'd probably go back to the same.
Jasper. So who's your favorite cartoon character? Would it be Casper?
No, not at all. My favorite cartoon character is Speedy Gonzales.
And I can't see the timer. I want to make sure we're not running out of time.
Oh, we have about 2 minutes left.
Okay, perfect. So tell us something about yourself that Tom probably doesn't know.
I speak fluent Mandarin Chinese.
Oh, all right. So I love that. Now I'm going to ask you a very profound question. In 5 words or less, tell us the meaning of life, but tell us tell us in Chinese the meaning of life. You can use 7 words if you need to. And since I don't speak Chinese, depending on the syllables, I won't really know how many words you've used.
I am Chinese. If you didn't speak it, I know that. Thank you.
Okay, she's gonna know.
我不知道怎么说 follow，不过你的心，你应该 follow。
So there's no word for
Yeah,
follow in
Follow your
Chinese.
heart. Follow your heart. Follow your heart. 追随你的内心. Yeah, perfect. He's
Oh.
high level for Mandarin. Thank you.
Awesome.
So Shannon, you get not just an A, but you get an A+. We are so proud of you. And I know how wonderful it feels. My grandson got my journal and he went through there giving me A+. So I know how wonderful it
Gold
feels.
star right here.
There you go. So if your significant other is not listening and you're okay to tell us, who was your childhood crush? And what would you say to that person now?
I have no
It's okay.
idea.
Time.
Wonder Woman.
Oh, we're never gonna know to find out whether or not Shannon's really ever been abducted by aliens. But that's okay. Thank you, Shannon, for playing along. And now, if you will please spotlight the timer and bring back our first contestant, which is Melanie Chong.
Hey, Shannon, be aware, since it's your first time to experience this, go ahead and mute yourself. And as they give you information, just revel in it. No response, please. And we will copy this for you to enjoy and improve yourself. My fingers are not working as fast as I'd like them to be.
Point of order. Are we going to spotlight each evaluator?
Yes.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Timer and each evaluator as we come into the room.
on fingers. Okay, the message has been set. And Melanie should be joining us back.
Did you want to stop recording and record again or just continue?
Yes.